Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing, don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about AEW Dynamite for August 18th, 2021. Oh my gosh, man, this is a great show, man. Really great show. The crowd, I love the crowd reaction tonight in Houston. They were on fire tonight. They were on fire tonight, man. This crowd was. And, I love the matches on this show. The opening match with Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears. I thought that was a really great match. The tag team championship match was really good, too. The Five Labors of Jericho. That final chapter of the Five Labors of Jericho was really good with MJF and Chris Jericho. Man, it was just fun, man. The show was just fun. We had a lot of chaos too on the show, and I love chaos, man, really do. And we did get a lot of announcements on the show concerning Rampage and next week's Dynamite, and we have some news on All Out too. So yeah, that was really good. And yeah, man, I just can't wait, man. I can't wait for Rampage this Friday, man, in Chicago, man. And yeah, we had a CM Punk chant too. We had a CM Punk chant when they promoted the Rampage show later on that night. A loud CM Punk chant. So yeah, man. So yeah, Dynamite was fun tonight. It was really fun, man. It was really fun. And the crowd, man, they brought it, man. And I say this time and time again, it is important, man. It is important to have a crowd. And the crowd, man, they made this show, man. They made this show. And so yeah, man. So that was Dynamite, man, for August 18th, 2021 on the Ryan Awesome Show. And I say this all the time in my intro, man. If you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I am here every single week, man. Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Friday for AEW Rampage, and Saturdays and Sundays are for the pay-per-views. So yeah, we were live in Houston, Texas tonight for AEW Dynamite. And so our first match, before we had our first match, we had Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston. They came out to the ring, and the crowd was singing along to Jon Moxley's theme music, Wild Thing. And so while they were making an entrance to the ring, we had 2.0. We had 2.0 and Danny Garcia. 2.0, that's Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber. No, not Jeff Daniels. Jeff Parker and Matt Lee of 2.0 and Danny Garcia, they attacked Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And so the crowd had booed. And so 2.0, they went in the ring, they spoke. And so the crowd started chanting, "You suck" to 2.0. And so 2.0, they were supposed to have a match tonight, later on tonight, that Texas Tornado tag team match with Sting and Darby Allin. And so 2.0, they said that, why wait later when we could do it right now. And so 2.0 they called out, Sting and Darby Allin to the ring, and so Sting came out first to his theme music, and so Darby Allin his theme music played, and so Darby he didn't come from the entrance way, he came from the back, he came from behind, and he hit 2.0 with the skateboards, and so that's when the match had happened, and so yeah, man, so yeah, a Texas Tornado tag team match, so it was Sting and Darby Allin versus 2.0, and so yeah, this is actually Sting's first match on TNT in 20 years, man, in 20 years. So yeah, so this is first match back on TNT in general, man. So yeah, we had Stinger splashes to 2.0 from Sting and Darby Allin, and so we had a "You Still Got It" chant from the crowd to Sting, and so both of these teams they were fighting in the crowd, and so 2.0 and Danny Garcia it was a 3-on-2 beatdown. So 2.0 and Danny Garcia they threw Darby Allin on the concrete wall that was above them, so that had to hurt, man. And so 2.0 and Garcia, they ganged up on Sting right after they took out Darby Allin. And so Darby Allin, he came back. He walked on the railings of a step. And so he jumped off the railing and he dove on 2.0 and Danny Garcia. And so we had Eddie Kingston. He came out. He took out Danny Garcia and took him away, took him to the back. So Eddie Kingston, he evened up the odds. He made it a fair fight. And so Darby Allin and Sting they had brought out a table. And so we had, at one point we had Darby Allin, he was outside of the ring, and we had 2.0, he had they suplexed Darby Allin on the wheels of his skateboard. So that had to hurt, man. That had to hurt Darby Allin. Darby is crazy, man. He is absolutely crazy to allow that to happen, man, to his body, man. Oh my God. Dude, I would never want to do anything like that. Get suplex on the skateboard, man, on the bottom of the skateboard, bro. And so yeah, so Sting he tried to fight off 2.0, but the numbers had caught up to him. And so 2.0 they powerbomb Sting through a table. So the table is broken. And so Sting he had popped right back up after that. And so he no-sold that table spot. And so yeah, the crowd was going crazy. And so to end the match, we had a double scorpion death, two two doubles. Bleh. We had a double scorpion death drops to 2.0 from Sting, and to end the match, we had a double scorpion death lock to 2.0 from Sting, and so he had it locked on them at the same time. And so both of these guys they tapped out at the same time. So Matt and Jeff they tapped out at the same time. Not Matt and Jeff Hardy, Matt Leaf and Jeff Parker. So they both tapped out at the same time. So Sting and Darby Allin wins the match, and that was it, man. Great opening to start off the show, man. And Sting looked great, man. He looked great tonight at his age, man. Still doing it, man. Just started doing it again. Really looked good. Really looked great tonight. Being able to hang it, was able to hang in there with the younger guys. So that Sting he looked really good, man. And that table spot that he hit, that table spot where he got powerbombed through the table and he popped right back up, man. That was crazy, man. That was absolutely crazy. And the crowd, they literally popped for that move. And so yeah, man. So yeah, that was it with that. What does Sting and Darby Allin do next? I don't know. Maybe go after the tag team championships. I don't know. That's what I would do. Even though they're not a real tag team, maybe maybe they can go after the AEW tag team champions. Since they garnered some wins. So yeah, but that's what I would do with them, man. That's exactly what I would do with them. So yeah, man. So yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Sammy Guevara. So they had a video that showed Sammy Guevara. He was proposing to his girlfriend, Pam, former BTE champion. And so yeah, he proposed to Pam. And so yeah, so Sammy Guevara he got engaged to Pam. So congratulations, man. Congratulations to Sammy Guevara and Pam. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Shawn Spears. It was Shawn Spears and Tully Blanchard. They were backstage, and it was their reaction to the proposal. And so Spears, he said that he talked about the pinnacle and all that stuff. He says that when you're in the pinnacle, you're always on top. And so he said that he told Pam like, for one night only, I'll make sure Pam, you know, he said Pam, I'll make sure for one night only you're on top. And so yeah, that was it with that, man. Oh my gosh, man, this dude. And so speaking of Shawn Spears, Sammy Guevara, we had their match, their one-on-one match. So Sammy Guevara versus Shawn Spears, the chairman. And so Spears, he tried to take out Sammy Guevara from behind while he was making his entrance and everything, but Sammy, he heard it coming, or he felt it coming with the footsteps and everything. And so we had a cannonball to Spears. And so Sammy, he kissed Pam, his now fiance. And so Sammy Guevara took control of the match. And so, well, the match didn't even start yet. The match didn't even start yet. So Spears, he had tripped up Sammy Guevara into the steel steps. So he knocked him into the steel steps. And so we had a double spike power driver from Blanchard and Spears. So Blanchard came out of nowhere and hit the double spikes power driver. And so Spears had brought Sammy back into the ring. And so that's when the bell rung. And so the match finally began. And so Aubrey Edwards, you know, Tully Blanchard, he tried to hit the move again. And then Aubrey Edwards, the referee, had kicked Tully Blanchard away from ringside. And so Blanchard, he tried fighting with the referee. He tried to fight with the referee. And so, we had an Aubrey chant from the crowd. So I thought that was funny. And so Spears, he took control of the match and he blew a kiss to Pam. Spears did. And so Sammy Guevara, he tried to go for the springboard cutter, but he missed, it was a hard landing for Sammy Guevara, man. And so yeah, at that point, both of these guys, they were going back and forth. And so Spears, he had taken control of the match during a commercial break, picture in picture, of course. And so the barricade, so right after we came from commercial break, man, we had the barricade, we had the guardrail, it was draped from the ring into the crowd. And so at that point, I was like, something's about to happen, bro. And so yeah, so Sammy Guevara and Spears, they were fighting on top of the rope and everything. And so Sammy Guevara, he had a top rope cutter to Spears, which was beautiful, a nice move. And so Spears had kicked out. And so we had a "This is awesome" chant. Indeed it is. It is awesome. This is awesome. And so, yeah, Spears, he had hit a top rope C4 to Sammy Guevara, and he kicked out. So at that point, I thought that was it because Shawn Spears, the C4, that's his finishing move, and he hit the move off the top rope. So I thought that was it. And so we had a Sammy chant from his hometown in Houston. So we were in Sammy's hometown. So they were cheering for Sammy the entire time. And so we had a Death Valley driver. So we had a Death Valley driver on Spears on the draping barricade. So that had to hurt, man. And so we had a 630. We had a 630 senton bomb to Spears, which was beautiful, man. And so Spears had kicked out. Spears had kicked out of the move. And at that point, I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, dude, nobody can believe it. Nobody could not believe it. Like, Sammy couldn't believe it. Everybody in the crowd couldn't believe it. Dude, that should have been it. That should have been it because, he actually beat Shawn Spears with that move at the Stadium Stampede match. And so, yeah, he kicked out of it. And so at one point, Sammy Guevara, he was bleeding somewhere. He was bleeding on his face. I don't know where it came from, but he was bleeding. And so we had a series of knee strikes to Spears. And so to end the match, we had Sammy Guevara hit his finishing move, the GTH. I think he called it the Go to Hell. So he hit the Go to Hell to Spears. And so Sammy Guevara wins the match. Really, really great match. Awesome match, man. And just like what I said before, man, the crowd was on fire, man. They were into this match. Sammy Guevara, man, he was over. He was over in this match. Sammy Guevara, he is over, man. And so, yeah, that was it with that, man. What Sammy Guevara does next, I don't know. Now, I would say now is the time to send him after the championship, probably the TNT championship. Send him after Miro. Sammy Guevara versus Miro should be a really great match. But yeah, man, you gotta send him after something, man. Cause Sammy Guevara, man, right now he's been getting some wins, and he's over with the crowd, man. So why not? Why not send him after a championship? And yeah, once again, man, congratulations to Sammy Guevara and Pam. And so yeah, man, so that was it with that, man. And so right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, he interviews Christian Cage, the new unified world champion of Impact Wrestling. And so yeah, so he tried to interview Christian Cage, and Don Callis, the Invisible Hand, interrupted the interview, and Callis was trying to suck up the Cage. And so yeah, so Callis, he had said that Omega will beat Cage. He will beat him, but you know, Cage, Cage will be in a match of his lifetime. Well, being in the ring with Kenny Omega. And so Cage, he had cut off Callis, and he said that, I told you that I'm in Omega's head. I beat him. I beat him for the Impact World Championship. I told you that I was gonna beat him for the Impact World Championship, and I did. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the AEW World Championship from him. The one thing that he holds dear to his heart, the AEW Championship. I'm gonna take that AEW Championship away from Kenny Omega. And so Cage, he tells Callis like, "Hey man, you think you're really smart, man. At the end of the day, man, you're still a carny piece of shit." And so that was it with that. And so yeah, so that was it with the interview. So of course, Cage, he will be going up against Omega at All Out for the AEW World Championship. And so yeah, man. So right after that, we had a video. We had a vignette of Dante Martin of Top Flight. He talked about his one-on-one match, not his one-on-one match, but the interaction that he had with Omega in the ring and on Rampage. And so Dante Martin, he said that Dante Martin is a name that you'll remember, you'll always remember. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Dan Lambert. We had Dan Lambert. He was in the ring. He spoke, and so yeah, he said that AEW turned into cancel culture. And so at that point, we had Lambert. He was surrounded by UFC fighters. I didn't know the names of the guys because I don't watch UFC. So yeah, he was surrounded by the UFC guys, and so he had called out anybody in the locker room to try to step up to him and everything, or try to do something to him. And so yeah, he said that AEW is not the answer, and so the crowd started chanting for AEW, an AEW chant from the crowd. And so Lambert, he started talking trash to the AEW wrestlers and everything. And he told the ladies in the crowd to shut their big fat mouths. So yeah, I thought that was funny, man. And so yeah, Lambert, he was going on and on and on, screaming his lungs out. And so Lance Archer, he had came out. Lance Archer came out to the ring to his theme music. And so Scorpio Sky, we had Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, they took out Lance Archer from behind. And so that was it, man. That was it with that. I don't know what Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky have to do with Lance Archer. I really don't know. Like, why did they go after Lance Archer of all people? you know, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But yeah, it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well for the men of the year. It's not gonna end well for them, man. They lost. Well, Ethan Page, he lost to Darby Allin in that coffin match, and Scorpio Sky, he's not doing much of anything. So they're gonna lose to Archer, man. They're gonna lose to Archer. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Le Champion. We had Chris Jericho. He was backstage. He spoke about the main event tonight, and he talked about the 5 labors of Jericho, everybody that he went through. He talked about Nick Cage, and everybody, just everybody in general that he went through in the 5 labors of Jericho. And he says that tonight he has the upper hand. Even though he can't use the Judas effect, and even though he can't come out to his theme music, he still has the upper hand because the crowd here tonight will sing him to the ring. And so Jericho said that he will get revenge on MJF tonight, and he will beat MJF. And so yeah, man, so that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. So yeah, man, so it was Jurassic Express, that's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marko Stunt in their corner, versus the Young Bucks, that's Matt and Nick Jackson, who are the AEW World Tag Team Champions, with the Elite. That's the Good Brothers, that's Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions, Don Callis and Brandon Cutler. And yeah, Michael Nakazawa was there too. Michael Nakazawa. And so yeah, Nick, he tried to, Nick, he used his speed against Jungle Boy. And so Nick, he started taunting Jungle Boy. He had Brandon Cutler's cold spray and everything, so he started spraying the cold spray on it over himself. And so Jungle Boy, he had dove on Nick. And so Luchasaurus, he had took out the Bucks at one point. And so we had an over the top rope Hurricane Rana and Nick Jackson from Jungle Boy. So that had to hurt, Nick, because he landed awkwardly. And so yeah, we had a diving crossbody to Luchasaurus over the top rope outside of the ring from Matt Jackson. And so the Bucks had took control of the match during the commercial break, picture in picture, of course. And we had a hot tag to Luchasaurus, and he took out the Bucks. And so Luchasaurus, he had tripped up Nick on the top rope at one point. And so we had a superplex to Nick from Jungle Boy off of Luchasaurus's shoulders. So that was really nice, man. And so yeah, Cutler, he tried to get involved, but Luchasaurus had took him out. And we had a double chokeslam to the Bucks from Luchasaurus. And so at that point, man, the match was all over the place. It was very hard for me to take notes. And so we had a super kick party to Luchasaurus. And then they hit a super kick party on Jungle Boy in midair. So that was really nice, man. And so we had an assisted indie taker to Jungle Boy, and he kicked out. And so at that point, I was like, "What, man? Come on! Like, you kicked out of that? That's their tag team finishing move." And so at one point, we had Marko Stunt. He was on the ring apron, cheering on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And so you had Omega, who wasn't out there. He was in the back, so he came from the back, and he had like a chair in his hand, and he just blasted Marko Stunt with that chair from behind. And so the crowd started booing and everything. And so you had Christian Cage. He came out to the ring and he speared Omega. And so Cage and Omega, they were fighting to the back. And so we had a brain buster on a chair to Matt Jackson from Jungle Boy. And Nikki had broke up the pin. So that's shades from Friday on Rampage. You know how, Omega had hit the one wing angel on Christian Cage. Or he tried to hit the one wing angel on Christian Cage on the chair. But Christian Cage ended up turning the tables on them. They did the same thing tonight. You know, the Bucks tried to hit their finishing move on Jungle Boy on the chair, but Jungle Boy ended up hitting a brainbuster. And so Nikki had broke up the pin at that point. And so the Jurassic Express, they hit their finishing move on Matt Jackson. And so Nikki had broke up the pin again. And so Jurassic Express, they took out the rest of the Elite because the rest of the Elite were getting involved in the match. They kept getting on the ring apron, so they took them out one by one. So, and so yeah, at the end of the match, we had a BTE trigger. We had a BTE trigger to Jungle Boy to win the match. So the Young Bucks wins the champ. They win the match and are still the AEW World Tag Team Champions, man. Really good match, man. Really good match. And just like what I said before, man, I could not take notes in this match. I couldn't. Like I just wanted to sit there and just watch the match, man. And so yeah, so right after the match, we had the Elite. They took out Christian Cage. So they brought Christian Cage out to the ring because they beat him up in the back. And so they beat up Cage and the rest of the Jurassic Express. And so yeah, so Omega came out. So yeah, Omega had hit the one wing angel to Christian. And so Callis, he was in the ring too. So Callis, he had got some shots in too. He had stomped on Christian at one point. And so, yeah, Omega hit the one wing angel on Christian. And so Callis went for the 3 count. He was playing the referee, so he went for the 3 count. And so he counted 3. And so, yeah, that was it with that. One thing I want to point out, though, the shirt that Kenny Omega was wearing, man, he was wearing a chick. He had a shirt that said Chick Magnet on it. And so, that's an Easter egg, man. That's an Easter egg for CM Punk. The CM, Chick Magnet Punk. Or Chicago made Punk, or whatever he uses for the CM. Because the last time, I forgot to mention it. The last time we saw Dynamite, he was wearing a Cookie Monster T-shirt. And I didn't catch on to it till somebody brought it up to me, and so I was like, oh man, he wearing a Cookie Monster T-shirt, and now he's wearing a Chick Magnet T-shirt. CM Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster and Chick Magnet. So yeah, it's definitely CM Punk, man. And so yeah, so Punk Punk will show up. I'm telling you, he will show up on Dynamite. Not Dynamite. He will show up on Rampage this Friday, man. So that's why the crowd was chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk when they kept announcing Rampage and all that stuff. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone. He was backstage. He interviews Dr. Britt Baker D.M.D, who is the AEW Women's World Champion with Rebel. And so Baker, she spoke, and she introduced her new enforcer, Jamie Hayter. And so Jamie Hayter, she says that her and Baker, they go way back, and she decided to come back, to help out a friend, an old friend. When Baker had asked for their help, she was there. And so Jamie Hayter, she challenged Red Velvet to a match next week on Dynamite. So we will have Jamie Hayter. So our first match back on Dynamite versus Red Velvet. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Matt Hardy. We had Matt Hardy talked about the best friends, most specifically Orange Cassidy. Well, first he talked about Wheeler, Utah, and then he talked about Orange Cassidy. And he said that he will break Orange Cassidy's nose. And so Cassidy, he responded by saying that, we'll see about that. And so that was it with that. So we have a match next week with Matt Hardy and Orange Cassidy next week on Dynamite. And so right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone. He introduces Paul Wight. So, aka the Big Show. So Paul Wight, he came out to the ring. Schiavone had welcomed him. And so Wight, he had said that, it's amazing to step foot inside the ring. It was great. It was great stepping foot inside this ring. Doing what I did last week or on Rampage. Not on Rampage. He wasn't on Rampage, on Dynamite. And so Wight, he had said that he has an announcement. And so you had QT Marshall and the Factory. They interrupted Paul Wight. And so QT had QT had cut him off before he can make his announcement. And so, Wight, he had called the Factory to the ring. He called them to the ring. Come in this ring. And so QT, he had said that there's a reason why Tony Khan hired you as an announcer and not a wrestler. And so Wight, he said that, QT is starting to piss him off and everything. And so QT, he had called the Houston Texans morons. And so, yeah, QT Marshall, he had showed a picture of Wight's damaged hip. And they had like a scar, across his body. And so, yeah. And so Wight, he said that, you thought that you showing my pictures is gonna make me upset. I'm not upset about those pictures. I'm actually proud of those pictures. And so yeah, he said he wasn't angry about the pictures. And so Wight, he had said that, his announcement that he was gonna get to, he has a match at All Out, and I was like, oh no. So he has a match at All Out, and his match will be against QT Marshall. And so that was it with that. QT was stunned by the announcement. And I was like, no. The Big Show, man, in a ring, in an AEW ring? Come on, man. No. Like why? Why are we getting the Big Show, man? Why are we getting the Big Show inside of a wrestling ring in 2021? Like, the guy can barely walk, man. He could barely walk. I don't know how long he's been out of the ring, but he's been out of the ring forever. And I don't want to see the Big Show in the ring. I really don't. He's best used at the commentary desk instead of being inside the ring. And then, like, dude, if he goes in the ring with QT, that's bad for QT. It's bad for QT, man. QT, he is not gonna beat Paul Wight. So that's what I'm saying is bad for QT. And QT, man, is a type of guy that's been losing time after time after time after time again. And QT is a joke, man. He really is. He could be a really great heel, man, but you gotta build him up better, man. The Factory is a failure, man. It is a factory of failures. But yeah, man. Yeah, I don't want to see him in the ring. I really don't want to see him in the ring with QT Marshall. That's not a all out match. Like, you better at putting it on Dynamite instead of putting it on All Out, man. Like, dude, what exactly has he done to get a pay-per-view match on All Out? That's what I want to. That's what I want to know. What exactly has he done? What has QT Marshall done to get an All Out match, a pay-per-view match? Nothing. Nothing but lose. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. Really, really didn't agree with that. I did not agree with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Jade Cargill and Mark Sterling. They were backstage. They talked about Kiera Hogan from Impact Wrestling. She's no longer a part of Impact Wrestling. And so yeah, so Kiera Hogan and Jade Cargill, they have a match on Rampage this Friday. So yeah, that should be good, man. And so yeah. So right after that, we had Tony Schiavone. He interviews the Elite, the whole gang, man. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, Brandon Cutler, Don Callis, and Michael Nakazawa. And so Schiavone, he had said that Tony Khan had made a match And there would be a eliminator tag team tournament with Private Party, the Varsity Blondes, the Lucha Bros, and the Jurassic Express. So these are all the teams that will be competing in that tournament. And the winner of the tournament will be going up against the Young Bucks in a steel cage match at All Out. So that should be really good, man. Who wins the tournament? I don't know. If I had to guess, man, probably. Mm, I'll probably say the Lucha Bros. I'll probably say the Lucha Bros. To be honest, I'll probably say the Lucha Bros. And they'll probably I don't know if they win or lose, but yeah, I'm going with the Lucha Bros. I'm going with the Lucha Bros. Or you can go with the you can either go with the Jurassic Express again. You can either go with them again. I think the Lucha Bros might get screwed out of this tournament by Andrade. Either Andrade or they'll lose and they'll take their anger out on Pac or somebody, turning heel. But yeah, man. The Elite they were mad at Tony Schiavone, like Tony Schiavone made the match. And so Schiavone, he said that, I didn't make the match. I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you what Tony Khan said. And so that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Taz. We had Taz with Hook. He introduced Ricky Starks, Starkman Ricky Starks, Absolute Ricky Starks, who is the FTW champion. And so Starks that came out to the ring, he called out Brian Cage. And so Cage, Cage, he did not come out to the ring. He was laid out on the ground. And so Hobbs was beating him up. And so Brian Cage ended up fighting back. And so Starks, Hook, and Taz, they went to the back. And that was it. That was it with that. I was like, what? I was like, that's it? I was like, that's it? I was like, man, dude, what was the point of that? To have it end abruptly like that? What's the point of having that if it was going to end that way? And so, yeah, man. So that was it with that. So that was nothing, man. And so right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone. He interviews the Death Triangle. So that's Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Pentagon with Alex Abrahantes. And so yeah, they were talking about the tournament and all that stuff. And we had Pac. He said that he will embarrass Andrade El Idolo at All Out. The same pay-per-view that he embarrassed Kenny Omega at. And so, Andrade, he interrupted Pac while he was speaking. And so he had told Pac, like, hey, if you want this match, then you have to agree to this form. And so it was a stack of papers, man. It was a big package. And so we didn't know what the contract says, but it was a big package, a long list. And so yeah, Chavo Guerrero, he says that the Lucha Bros will never be the champions. You'll never be the champions as long as you're with Pac. But if you were when you were like if you're with us, man, you will become champions. But right now, you're not gonna become champions. Not right now. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. So yeah, so Lucha Bros will end up joining Andrade. I don't know when it is. They might snap in this tournament. I don't know what is gonna cause them to turn heel, but eventually they will turn heel. They will turn on Pac and they will join Andrade El Idolo. I can see it. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that we had a women's match. So this is our only women's match that we had on the show. So it's Penelope Ford versus Thunder Rosa. And so yeah, we had a huge pop from Thunder Rosa. And so yeah, we started off the match. We had a drop kick to Ford to knock her off of the ring apron. We had chops to Ford, and then we had a cutter to Rosa on the outside floor. And so Ford, she had to control the match during the commercial break, picture in picture, of course. And we had a drop kick to Ford on a rope, and we had a butterfly suplex to Ford, and she kicks out. And so Ford, she had locked in the Muda lock to Rosa, and then Rosa, she had rolled out of it. And so she went for another submission move, but Ford had fought out of it. And so we had a Death Valley driver to Ford, and she kicks out. And so Penelope Ford, she had a gut buster on Rosa. And so Ford, she had locked in the Muda lock. And so Rosa, she had rolled out of the Muda lock. And so she turned that hold into a chokehold, like a mix, like it looked like a mixture of a chokehold and a leg lock at the same time. And so she tapped out Ford. So Ford had tapped out. So therefore, Thunder Rosa wins the match, and that was it, man. That was it with the match. Really wasn't much to the match. But yeah, the match was okay. It was fine. But yeah, that was it with the match. And yeah, so right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone again. So Tony Schiavone was all over the place, man. He interviews Arn Anderson with Brock Anderson. And so Arn Anderson, he was talking about, not Alistair Black, Malachi Black. He was talking about Malachi Black's debut. Malachi Black knocking out Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson. And so Anderson, he turned his attention to his son, and saying that his son made he has to be careful with the decision that he make. Because Brock Anderson, he wanted a match with Malachi Black, and so Arn Anderson tried to talk him out of it. He tried to talk him out of it, like, hey man, or he tried to warn him. He tried to warn him about Black, like, hey, Black is a dangerous guy. He's a dangerous guy. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to avenge me, but you gotta think about this, man. Black is a dangerous dude, and he will hurt you. He will hurt you. And so, you know, Brock he has says that, I made the match. I made the match, and I'm not asking for this match. I'm telling you this, Dad. I'm telling you this, that I will have a match with Malachi Black. And so that was it with that. So yeah, so Brock Anderson versus Malachi Black. Brock Anderson is about to die. He is gonna die. Malachi Black is gonna kill him. He's gonna murder him next week. So yeah, man. So that was it with that. He better start writing his will right now, man, because he is not about to make it alive. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Miro, the TNT champion, the Redeemer, God's favorite champion, Miro. And so Miro, he challenged Eddie Kingston to a match. So is it a non-title match or a championship match? That's what I want to know. But he challenged him to a match. So yeah, that should be really good, man. So this is the first time ever Eddie Kingston versus Miro. And so right after that, man, we had Jon Moxley. He spoke backstage. He was talking about Kenny Omega and then Christian Cage and their situation and everything. And Moxley, he said that he's carried AEW. He's carried the AEW championship during the pandemic and everything. And he's the face of the company. He's not lying there. He is the face of the company. Moxley said that he's still on top. He's on top of the food chain. And so Moxley, he started talking about Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia took him and Eddie Kingston out along with 2.0. And so he said that he will hurt Danny Garcia. He will hurt him. He will hurt Danny Garcia. And he asked Danny Garcia, is this what you want to be? You want to be at the top of the mountain? You want to be on top of the food chain? Well, let me tell you this, man. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. And so Moxley, he said, you don't want this, man. You don't want this work. You don't want this. And so, yeah, so Moxley, so it's going to be Moxley versus Danny Garcia on Rampage this Friday on that Chicago show. So, yeah, man. He said the main event, too. He said the main event. So, will Punk show up in the main event? Will he confront Jon Moxley? I don't know. He's going to go after Darby Allin. But, yeah, this as the main event, I think CM Punk is going to be the last thing that we see. It's going to be the last. CM Punk is going to be the last person that we see at the end of the show. You can either start him off on the show. I probably wouldn't do that because you're gonna take away everything else that's on the show. But I'll have Punk show up last, man. But yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, man. So let's talk about next week's show and let's talk about Rampage this Friday. So yeah, man. So we have Rampage. So yeah, so next week's show we have the World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament. So our first round will be the Varsity Blondes. So that's Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. with Julia Hart in their corner versus the Lucha Bros. That's Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix with Alex Abrahantes in their corner. And so, yeah, right after that, our next match for next week, we have Red Velvet versus Jamie Hayter with Dr. Britt Baker D.M.D. in our corner. And so next we have Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy next week. And then we have Malachi Black versus Brock Anderson with Arn Anderson in his corner. So, yeah, rest in peace, Brock Anderson. You are about to die. You are about to die. And so, yeah, so that's next week's show. Now, for Rampage, we have this Friday for Rampage in Chicago. We have the first dance. So, our next So our next match for the tournament is going to be Private Party with Matt Hardy in their corner. There's Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn versus the Jurassic Express. So that's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And so also we have Jade Cargill with Smart Mark Sterling in our corner versus Kiera Hogan. So that's this Friday too. And then we have John Moxley. We have John Moxley with Eddie Kingston in his corner versus Daniel Garcia with 2.0 in his corner. And so yeah, so that's all the matches that are announced for next week and the matches that were announced for Rampage in Chicago. And so yeah, man. And so right after that, man, we had the main event. We had the main event, and it was the Five Labors of Jericho. So it was MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And so, of course, the stipulation in this match is that Jericho, he cannot come out to his theme music, and he cannot use the Judas effect. And so MJF came out first, and then Jericho came out. So, of course, Jericho came out to no theme music, and the crowd had sung along. The crowd had sung along to the theme music, so I love that part. And so, yeah, Dasha Gonzalez, who was the ring announcer, she tried to introduce Jericho, but Jericho had cut her off. Jericho was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Because, if she would have introduced Jericho, she would have messed up the singing from the crowd. So that was quick thinking from Chris Jericho. And so, yeah, so the crowd was singing Judas and everything, a cappella. And so, yeah, I actually saw somebody in the crowd holding the lyrics. Somebody had lyrics in the crowd written down on a poster. So, yeah, that was really smart, really smart. So, yeah, beautiful singing from the crowd for Judas. And so, yeah, the match started off. We had a MJF sucks chant from the crowd. And so we had a springboard dropkick to MJF. And so MJF, he had at one point took the camera from the camera guy, and he gave the camera guy the finger, or he took the camera and gave the camera the finger. And so, yeah, Jericho ended up knocking MJF down to the ground while MJF was holding the camera. And so MJF, he went right after Jericho's bad arm, which was the focus of the match. And so MJF, he took control of the match during the commercial break, picture in picture, of course. And so Jericho was fighting back. He had a diving axe handle to MJF. And so MJF, he had threw Jericho into the corner. And so MJF, he had tore the brace off. He tore the brace off his arm. And so Jericho, he hit the lion salt to MJF, and he kicks out. We had a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. We had chops to MJF. A top rope hurricanrana to MJF. He kicks out. And then we had a salt of the earth. We had the salt of the earth submission move to Jericho, and he fought out of it. And so Jericho, he tried to go for the walls of Jericho on MJF, but MJF fought out of it. And so both of these guys, they were going back and forth with strikes. Crowd was into this match too, man. And so MJF again going after the arm. And so MJF, he hit the heat seeker. He hit the heat seeker to Jericho. He kicks out. And so, MJF, he was using the referee as a shield at one point. And so he gave Jericho a low blow behind the referee's back. And so, yeah, we had the walls of Jericho to Jericho. And so Jericho grabbed the rope. And so Jericho and MJF, at one point they were separated. They were spaced out from each other. And so both of these guys, they grabbed weapons behind each other's back. So MJF, he went for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And Jericho, he went for the Floyd the Bat. And so MJF, he tried to use the ring, but the referee had saw him with the ring. So the referee told him to get rid of the ring and everything. And so Jericho, he hit MJF with the bat behind the referee's back. And so right after he hit him with the bat, he went for the Judas effect. Jericho went for the Judas effect, but he stopped himself. And at that point, he could have still went for it. He could have still went for it because Aubrey Edwards, her back was still turned around for a little bit. If he would have hit it, she probably would have. I don't know if she would have saw it. I don't think she would have saw it. She would have been like, "What's going on here? What's going on here? You didn't hit the Judas effect, did you?" That's what probably would have happened. But he thought that she was gonna see it, but she really didn't see it. But he ended up stopping himself. And so MJF, he hit the Judas effect on Jericho. So I knew MJF was gonna try something like that. MJF saying that you can't use the Judas effect. You can't use the Judas effect. If you use the Judas effect, I win the match. And MJF used the Judas effect. So yeah, man, MJF is such a great heel, man. Such a great heel. And so yeah, man. So yeah, so Jericho. So yeah, so MJF he had locked in the salt of the earth to Jericho, and so Jericho he had rolled up MJF and he kicks out, and so to end the match, MJF he had locked in the salt of the earth again to Jericho, and so Jericho tapped out. So therefore MJF wins the match and he conquers Chris Jericho, man. He beat Chris Jericho in the final stage of the Labors of Jericho. So Jericho lost the final stage he lost to the final boss. He lost to the final boss in the Labors of Jericho. So yeah, man, really good match, man. Really good match. I was looking forward to this match, man. I really was to see how everything was gonna play out with the match, the stipulations and everything. Him not being able to use his theme music and him not being able to use the Judas effect and all that stuff, man. This was a fun match, man. Really fun match, and the crowd was into this match. The crowd was into everything, bro, into everything. And MJF winning the match was the right move. It was the correct move. You can't have MJF lose. Like you really can't. Like he's that type of person that should be booked to always win because his catchphrase, "I'm better than you," and you know it. And you can't have somebody that say that and have him lose. And so, yeah, man, that's why MJF won, and he's a mega heel right now, mega heel. Well, he beat him like 3 times already. He beat Jericho like 3 times, and he said right after he beat him, "That's it, man. That's it. No more rematches. You're gonna leave us alone. No more matches with me. Right after I beat you, that's it. That's it." And he beat him. He beat Jericho. Now, what's next for Jericho? What's next for Jericho? I really don't know. Will he take a break from wrestling? Will he tour with his band? What exactly is Jericho gonna do now that MJF beaten Jericho? Will Sammy go after him? I think Sammy might end up going after MJF. So they'll have like a rematch or something. Because they got that fight forever type feel. MJF and Sammy Guevara, man. So yeah, man. So yeah, that was it, man. That was it with the show. Really good show, man. Really good show, man. I love the matches on this show, and I love the crowd reaction on this show, man. And yeah, man, they building up to Rampage, man. They are building up to Rampage, which is a newsworthy show that's coming up on Friday, man. A newsworthy show with a possible debut for CM Punk showing up on Dynamite. I mean, not Dynamite, Rampage. So yeah, that's really good stuff, man. And so yeah, man. So yeah, so that was it with Dynamite, man. And if you like this video, man, hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, if it's your first time watching this show, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button is a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here each and every single week. Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Fridays for AEW Rampage, Saturdays and Sundays are for the pay-per-views, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. In this case, this weekend it's going to be only WWE pay-per-views, so I'll be there. And yeah, man. And comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about this episode of AEW Dynamite. And share this video, man. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys for Thursday for Impact Wrestling. I'll see you guys for Thursday for Impact Wrestling. And I'll see you guys on Friday for Emergence. And I'll see you guys also on Friday for AEW Rampage. And I'll see you guys on Saturday for SummerSlam. And I'll see you guys on Sunday for NXT TakeOver. So this is a busy week. This is a busy week for us content creators, man. Long week. This is a long week, man. And we're Wednesday, man. We're on Wednesday, so we got more to go, man. So yeah, man. So see you guys then. And once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, man. And follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show, man. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And if you missed my last week's review of AEW Dynamite, the video is gonna be right up here. The video is gonna be right up here. The video is gonna be right up here in this corner. And if you missed my Rampage, if you missed the Rampage review from this past week, this past Friday, the video is gonna be right up here. So the link to both of these videos will be down below in the description. So make sure you check them out if you missed it. And yeah, man. And once again, man, as always, thank you for the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.